Welcome back to Valheim. Episode number 4, recording audio over the video. So basically, I'm going to build out a big, a veranda on top of a big balcony section. And then I'll put a rock or dirt wall around the whole thing and build up crafting benches and forges and stuff on this side. So this will be like the forging base for the Black Forest. Going to take quite a while to collect enough rock for all of this, but you know, it's the usual grind when you're playing a survival game. Some of these enemies can be pretty tough when you start off initially, especially if they've got elite, like 2 stars, and you've only just begun in the Black Forest. This will take a while. And like I've said many times before, if you're playing this kind of survival game and you have friends, then they're going to come and drop off wood and stone as they explore a mine or do whatever they're doing on their own side. In this Let's Play, I'm probably going to hold back a little bit from building too many bases, because I have a habit of getting carried away and I end up building like little way stations along a highway that I build from one zone to another. And it's just so if you're pulling a cart and it's nighttime, you can just jump in a bed nearby, rather than everyone else having to wait while you drag a cart through the night, just so you can pass the time. Because like all the survival games with the day-night cycle, everyone needs to be in a bed. When you got high-level gear and you're in like the snow biome, sometimes you do want to be out during the night just to hunt certain enemies that spawn during the night, but most of the time, because of the light quality, you just want to quickly switch over to daytime again. Especially for your rested bonus, you have to keep coming and going. While I'm in this area, I will grind out a lot of metal ores and build up quite a bit, so I'll level my gear up quite quickly. But from the perspective, well, from your perspective, it'll be quite quick. From mine, when I'm grinding, it will take quite a while. So this tower, because this tower was pretty much complete, it is very, very easy to throw a roof on it and make it look nice. The advantage of this tower backing right onto the slope of the hill is that when I do build it out, it automatically builds that steep edge in which trolls won't be able to attack. However, if they're carrying a log, they'll be able to do like swings and overarm swings that'll still hit the tower. So I will have to build out onto the slope with raising the dirt or raising the level or the ground, and then dig down a little bit of a trench just to drop them down lower than the bottom of my tower if they try to attack. But that's something I'll do later on. There's a lot of ways or a lot of things I could do differently if I was trying to speed run it, such as upgrading my gear as soon as I get it and everything like that. But I'd rather keep those moments sort of compacted into one section of a video. So if you see any structures or anything that I've built or upgraded, generally it'll come in its own section of a video instead of sprinkled along many videos. At least I'll try to do it that way. With the main base construction, I could have already built certain sections out, but like I said, I'd rather have the farming and other things like that focused into its own video. Because a lot of it's going to move as I build the base out. So right now I do have like a temporary farm set up just to get the carrots and that kind of thing going. To tame boar pigs, but there will be a permanent sort of farming area where I'll do a whole video on farming. Or an episode that's mainly based around building the farm and then bringing the farm animals in. Like here, for instance, I'm doing a lot of grinding of wood gathering with a flint axe, when really at this stage in your own personal game that you're playing, you would go find a copper deposit, dig that up, find tin deposits along the seaside or the riverside, dig them up, smelt them. Once you've got the certain cores to build the kilns and the furnaces or whatever they're called, and then upgrade your gear as quickly as you could. But to me, the main enjoyment is like building things and designing or building out infrastructure. I'm just changing that. I didn't like the look of that section of the 26% angle. 26-degree angle, I should say. There's something just enjoyable about building a fucking a wall. I don't know what it is. Terraforming the terrain and building a wall is just fun. I don't know how to explain it. I imagine that's why games like Minecraft and other survival games do so well. Humans are just meant to be building things. You also, when you're playing the game, don't need to put in this much effort. You literally could mine resources, put it in a cart. You need bronze nails. You need bronze nails for it. But once you have the smelter set up and you have the brass nails, you could be building a cart, mining, and then taking it back to your main base. So you don't even really need to build any of these little bases. You could probably even just put up like a wall around the cart, run back to your base, sleep, or have a little bed in a hut as a little way station for the cart, and then run back and forth, you know. But when I play these kinds of games, I like to go big. There's one of those space survival games where you can build your own spaceship, and well, basically a moving base. And whenever we would log off when we were playing multiplayer, the spaceship would disappear. And I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty certain I'm building the spaceship over a certain size, and then the server just loses it because it's too big. Like, I literally, the amount of steel I was putting into building this gigantic fucking ship, and I rebuilt it like 3 times, and it disappeared all 3 times on the server. And I just, I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, fuck this game. I'm out. I'm done. It was an online server as well. So. Yeah, when I saw the foresters moving, I thought, oh, okay, it's just going to be necks and boars and whatever. And all these fuckers started showing up. I didn't realize they were under the command of Ep4. These guys, I thought they were separate in the very beginning. Early access when I was playing. I thought they had their own base raid, but clearly that's wrong. Or it just changes depending on what biome you're in. So obviously, I know I'm pretty much in trouble right now. I'm not ready for this. So I can see all the shadows running along. I know these fuckers are coming for me. But now it's a bit more manageable. Yeah, so the high ground in this game actually can be much worse for you, because the plane that you're standing on, if it's just a little too high compared to the plane of the enemy being a little bit lower, you're going to swing right over them and miss. But you can use the same thing to your advantage if you're fighting, say, like a golem in the snow biome. So the golems are mainly where the silver spawns, and that's on top of the mountain peaks. So if you're on a steep slope and you position the golem to be above you, so you just run down a little bit quicker, most of their attacks, they got like 1 second quick swipe attack that can get down and get you. But if you move down just a little bit, you can basically just attack them non-stop and just retreat every time they come closer. Otherwise, if you try to block them, they're basically going to stun lock you. It's finally over. Those ancient seeds are what you use to summon the elder. I think you need 3 for them. Yeah, so right now I'm thinking, fuck, I don't want to be in that situation again. So now I've decided I probably should use some of that wood, get it out of the storage. So I'm building out towards the tower itself. from the floor that I've placed down to ensure that everything lines up still because of your different heights of the stone blocks. Otherwise, if you just start from the stone wall, you're going to get things that don't line up when you get to the final corner, either on the floor or up high, because of all the different heights. So as I build this base up, I'm going to have high-level forge and crafting bench here, as well as back on my base. But it'll take a while to get enough circling cores to eventually move all the smelting and refining and ash production, or coal production I should say, back to the main base. Because once I move on from the Black Forest, a lot of your resource collection is going to be brought back via like some sort of boat. And if you have to go to other realms, other worlds that you need to create, such as the possibility that I may run into where you don't have enough steel because you don't have enough sunken crypts that have spawned in your swamps. If you get a bad seed, like a bad spawn, world spawn. Probably less of an issue in a single player world, but if you're playing multiplayer and you need a lot of iron to get everyone iron level gear, then yeah, you're gonna need a huge amount of iron. And then you need iron nails and iron bars for different upgrades to workbenches or forges. So yeah, it just ends up being a pretty massive requirement for iron. And it's one of the trickier ones to get because you need to go into a sunken crypt. So if the sunken crypts don't spawn, or like if your islands are too thin, apparently, and there's not enough room in a swamp, it affects the spawning, is what I've seen online when I was searching for the multiplayer realm that we've got. Which it would be nice if you could scrap armor and weapons once you move past that level to get the iron back, but it's not really a thing. I've been told there is like an item obliterator, but I think that just deletes the item. Like it doesn't recycle the gear back out of it, but I could be wrong. So I might have been having a drink of water at that moment. So I think right then I was talking about sundials and how you can build an item to measure, well not build an item, but build a structure to measure the sun as it moves past, but it's pretty unimportant because you can see the journey of the sun and roughly work out how much time you've got anyway. Like 19 minutes per day or whatever. So if it's about halfway up in the sky, midday, you've got about 10 minutes to start heading back. Yeah, and right now I'm just trying to work out how I'm going to set out the base because it will be built out pretty far. But if you go too close to the wall there, the trolls that have logs can swing and attack and hit your structures on the other side of the wall. So I will have to build a dirt moat to hopefully pull them down low enough so that I can get a bit closer to that edge. If I get that far. Because eventually you do get to a point where, okay, I'm just building up a second base here. I don't need to spend any more time on it. Yeah, and here's the troll that was wandering around. I'm pretty certain he could hear me harvesting stone there. And then his pathing got a bit crazy because of where I was standing. They're pretty easy to take down. Like, I've only got a crude bow and some standard arrows and fire arrows, so don't get hit by a stone though. I think a big problem people get into is holding in shift as a retreat. Using up all their stamina basically because they're holding in run. Or sprint. So right about now I'm feeling pretty good. We can kill trolls pretty easily and they're one of the biggest enemies or dangers in the forest initially. Plus brutes and shamans, but you can generally run away from them. Whereas the troll, if you're building something, they'll go and attack your crafting bench, which, you know, it leads them on to attacking the rest of your base that you just spent time trying to build up. Yeah, this is just me exploring. Mapping out the area around it, and I came across the first real dungeon to get settlement cores. This 2-star elite basically slaps me down. Fucking just rocked me. I got him. So this is their first dungeon. You need 5 Surtling cores to build the kiln and the furnace. So preferably you want to get 10. But you're probably only going to get about 6 to 8. Or 9. So I just powered through that, no technique. With a flint axe and a shield and, you know, basic leather armor, so not too difficult. As long as you don't let yourself get trapped in a corner. Smelter, yeah. Okay. Different names in different survival games. So if you've got 2 Surtling cores, dwarf eyes, and fine wood, you can build a teleporter, which is extremely useful. Unfortunately, you can't bring metal ores or metals through them. Dragon eggs and like 1 or 2 other special items. So I didn't have enough wood and stone in my inventory to build a little fire there, so I'll just have to go without the rested bonus. And so far I've managed to just power through all the enemies without really using too much skill. So, fire arrows or the torch, just fire of any kind, seems to do more damage to the ghost rather than physical, I think. And unfortunately, the skeleton showed up as well. So there's either a spawner or he was just in the back of the room. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It like seems like it's doing fuck all to the ghost. But I don't know if I was hitting the door first. I also wasn't willing to shut the door. I wanted to keep it there in case I did have to run away. I could slam the door behind me and trap the ghost, but it wasn't necessary. Now you do have to be careful Because of how dark these rooms are, there's a lot of items that are sitting on the edges of the walls or on the floor. And if you don't have a torch, which I just busted mine, you don't have a torch, you're not going to be able to illuminate the floor to see like the amber pearl or some gold coins just sitting on the ground. So I'm thinking about going back, taking what I've got and heading back. Yeah. It's like, I'll come back when I've got something else going on. When I've got the rested bonus and, you know, possibly better gear. The risk was pretty low, but I prefer to prepare what I do beforehand. And then if I'm playing a game like Mordheim, I think it was called, I just equip the battle axe and go charging right in, trying to decapitate people. So I got 4 cores. I could keep saving it up or make a portal from here back to the main base. I think I'll save it. I have played a little bit ahead, or quite a bit ahead of this, grinding out resources, so I don't recall exactly what I did. Yeah, I'm thinking I've got a wall outside, surely. And then I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck did this cunt get up here? So yeah, he just... There must be the smallest amount of path that he can step up over. I could hear that stomping and I was like, oh yeah, he'll be walking around outside trying to work out how to get in. Yeah, and this motherfucker crashing my tower. Like, that's literally the worst case scenario. Son of a bitch. Yeah, so anyway, I just got attacked by trolls and then I sleep with the door fucking open. So they can just reach in and abduct me at any point. That kind of behavior is how we ended up with Loki. Half Jotun, half fucking Valhalla. So now I'm just coming in to finish this side off. It was barely even an inconvenience. Yeah, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything off the floor. I believe I'm just talking about the different kinds of dungeons you can get. So there'll be ones that have a walkway up to a higher floor or a lower floor, whereas you get others that are pretty short. All the other pathways are collapsed in. So now that I've got the Surtling cores, I just need 20 stone, I think, for both. And I can start building the smelters and the kilns. So I'm trying to think of a name here. Not very creative. Like, I was thinking about Bastion or fucking any kind of name like that, but couldn't be fucked at that point. So there's tin. I'll go check that island out at some point later on. Troll cave up here. Just wildly firing off here. These spawners, most of the time you can just smash them, but there can be a good enough reason to keep them just to farm dwarf eyes whenever you need them. But it's not really a problem you're going to run into where you're low on dwarf eyes. Every game I've played, or every realm I've played in, we just end up having stacks and stacks of dwarf eyes. Because these guys just harass you the whole time you're in the Black Forest. I am thinking about bailing very quickly though, because the sun is starting to set. Those are two terrible fucking dodges. Yeah, that pisses me off sometimes where their health is down low enough that they should be getting a stagger, but they get that one attack in. And like, as you can see how low our health is at this moment, one of those kind of like bullshit retribution strikes that they get in, you know, it could have been the end of us. Yeah, so fine wood's used for all your furniture. If you want to collect fine wood, you need your bronze axe or higher. I do think the brutes or the shamans or both should drop fine wood when they die. But it's not really a big deal. Won't even change a great deal because you probably won't be able to kill enough to get a single piece of furniture anyway. At this point, when you're in the Black Forest, it's very easy to get the bronze weapons or the bronze axe to go and harvest the birchwood back in the meadows. I feel like I see a lot more elites as well compared to when the early access, like pretty close to when the early access first came out. I feel like there's a lot more elites now, which as you can see, they're not difficult to deal with unless they're 2-star and you've got basic gear, but I do like that. I think that's cool. Gives more variation to your standard enemy type, you know, it just makes them a bit red. And they're a bit bigger. But it's still pretty cool, has a fun effect. So here's, obviously the bed is too close to the edge here. And the base, so I couldn't sleep. But hopefully when I build that, or raise the ground enough, build that out and then dig a trench down, the enemies will be so far away and on such a different, is it a Z axis, Z level? They're so far down that it won't register for that bed, but once again, it doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm building a main base here in the Black Forest and we'll have to worry about these guys spawning all the time. Right now, I'm just scanning the area, trying to work out where I want to put the road, where I want to put the. Unfortunately, you can't build drawbridges, so where I want to put the trench with the little wooden bridge across, where it's got a half a block or half a floor gap to run over. And how I'm going to get down to the water, but I think I've changed my mind on that. I'll definitely build a road that takes me back to the main base. And any other road that I build in other sections of the Black Forest or meadows or whatever will all line back up to pretty much like the King's Road, just going from this stone tower back to my main base. So it's like I'm doing all this work building this area up, and I'm going to move on from it very, very quickly. But if you don't enjoy building bases, survival games probably really aren't the best fit for you. Or at least not this style of survival game. Or you go and play online and play with friends, and you talk to other people and join their groups, and you go out and you do the hunting or the fishing or dungeon diving to keep coming back with certain cores, so you can end up with a massive refining section of just kilns and smelters burning the whole time. Because if you have multiple people, you're going to need so much bronze, and then when you get to the iron area, you're going to need so much iron, and you really, really do need someone who's just teleporting from the main base to the swamp, going out, collecting the scrap iron, putting it in the swamp base, which preferably would be attached to a port, and then having either them or someone else sailing it back. Well, the one person back at base managing the base is just blacksmithing and building all types of gear. But if you play in solo and you don't like building a base, you can really come up with a lot of little shortcuts. So you raise the ground up as high as you can, put a little hut on it, sleep there, build your first set of smelting and everything back at the main base, run back, get enough nails to build a cart, drag the cart around with you in the Black Forest, and then run it back to the main base. You might even need to leave the cart in a pit with a wall around it or something. Quickly go back to the main base, and then once you've got enough certain cores, you build a couple of teleporters at different locations, so you can just go back and rest, teleport back, get the cart, and sort of like speed running, trying to just get the resources you need to move on to the next area. But for me, that's not how I enjoy the game. I enjoy the game by like building up infrastructure, building up bases, and kind of like taming the territory as I go through. And like these enemies here in this tower that slapped us down when we first came across it, when we just had leather, just scrap armor. Was it leather scraps, or is it just called scrap tunic and scrap trousers? But yeah, we just took them apart so easily there. Yeah, unfortunately, I come back to harvest the honey in one of these other episodes later on, and some little fucker has come up and destroyed one of those hives. And as you can see, the color is different, so it is getting attacked. And it's a bit busted looking. So I do eventually rearrange these chests just to separate the raw meat and the cooked meat, because whenever you go play stack or whatever, you play stack, it takes the cooked meat out of your inventory. Rewatching this footage and recording over it, I am so keen to start building the other wings of the base out and developing the front port section, because at the moment where I am, I've got enough resources to build Cavill, is it? The first proper ship you get after the raft, we're using the bronze nails. So I want to design that, get that finished. Obviously, I'll need to go back over it with stone once I get to the Iron Age. So we're coming up to the end of the episode. I'm going to call it there. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.